Welcome to your evening restorative yoga class. And as you can see, I've showered and I'm ready for bed as well. So I'll be guiding you through this class, preparing you for sleep, but also preparing myself to go to sleep. So this is a nice treat. So for this class, we're going to really focus on, yes, getting the physical body to relax, but also getting the mind to relax and the breath to be a little bit more at ease. Sometimes when we have a busy day and we have a lot of things going on, even though we're exhausted and we want to go to sleep, maybe our mind is still thinking about the day, kind of running through things that happened, or maybe it's thinking about the future. What am I going to do tomorrow? What are the plans that I have for the rest of the week or to-do lists? So in order to get the mind to calm down a little bit, we want to give it something soft and gentle to do. So nothing too complicated, but just focusing on one thing at a time. So we're going to start with some breath work, breath techniques, get the body moving a little bit, and close out with a little bit of guided meditation. So all you'll need for class is 2 blocks, a bolster or a pillow, and a blanket. And, especially if you tend to get cold, because we're going to be calming down the body can cool down as that happens. So if you need to, grab a sweater, put some socks on, get cozy. Let's get started. So you'll grab your blanket or your bolster, but just something to prop you up so you're not slouching backwards as you sit on the floor. If you need to, you can prop yourself up against your bed or against your couch, especially if you would like that extra support for your spine. And then as you're sitting here, go ahead and feel your sit bones rooting down, the crown of the head elevating up. Good. So we're going to find a breath technique called Nighty, and it basically means alternate nostril breathing. And what the purpose behind it is to bring balance between the right and left hemispheres of the brain and of the body. So say we're moving the right side of the body and doing some type of activity that involves the right side, then the left side of the brain or the left hemisphere of the brain is responsible for that coordination, that function, and vice versa. So just by bringing our awareness to our breath and alternating through both sides of the nostrils, we can calm the nervous system down, and we can hopefully bring a little bit more balance to the mind and to the body. So once you're in your comfortable seated position, go ahead and, it doesn't matter which hand you use, but take your index finger and your middle finger right in between the eyebrows. For me, I'm going to use my right hand, but you might find that you're using the opposite. Then take your other hand and support the elbow that's lifted. Take your thumb to one nostril and your ring and pinky finger to the other nostril. First, just breathe in through both nostrils equally. Inhale. And then exhale. Close off the left nostril. Breathe in through the right. Hold. Breathe out through the right. Switch. Inhale through the left. And out of the left. So now let's alternate. Close off the left, breathe in through the right. Hold at the top, breathe out through the left, close the right. Breathe in through the left. Breathe out the right. Inhale through the right. Exhale out the left. Keep going on your own. See if you can find an equal length of your breath. So inhales match the exhales and vice versa. Notice maybe it's easier to breathe through one side versus the other. And the right side of the brain is synonymous with the sun energy. So a bit more active. Think about the sun as hot and active and strong energy. And the left side associated with the moon energy. So cool, calm, grounded, night versus the sun in the day, right? Take a couple more. And so you might notice that maybe, say, the right side of the nostril is restricted and the left side is open. That might be a sign that you're a little bit low on your energy, and vice versa. So if the left side is open and the right side is closed, that might be a sign that so if the right side is closed, the left side is open, that might be a sign that you're low on energy. And if the left side is closed and the right side is open, that's the sun energy, that might be a sign that maybe you're not so grounded, maybe you're bouncing all over the place. Take one more, breathing in through your left, out through your right. In through your right, and out through your left. If you're still going, take your time. Release your hands back to your legs. Just notice how your body feels overall. The sense of maybe balance, ease, and release. Blink your eyes open. And then we'll come into a pose called deer pose, which is a nice restorative or yin-like pose that helps to kind of open up through the spine, rotation-wise, and to open up through the hips. So turn and face the front of your mat. Come onto your hands and knees. Grab your bolster, just take it in front of you, or if you don't have your bolster, grab your pillow. Come onto your hands and knees, and let's move through cat-cow. When we're in a more static position, it's nice to balance that out with a little bit of movement. Good, and then come back to a neutral spine. I'm going to turn and face towards you, so sit on your left hip. Your legs will be staggered in, one leg is rotated out, your left leg, right leg is rotated in. So again, you're sitting on your left hip, and both of your knees are towards the right side of your mat. So once you have your legs set up, turn and face the front of your mat so your chest is turning towards the bolster. Sit up nice and tall, breath in. Exhale, slowly fold down onto the bolster. And you can either turn your head to the right side and just allow your body weight to relax down, or you can turn your head to the left side. So find whichever one works best for you. Close your eyes, allow your body weight to just ground down. I like to just kind of cradle the block underneath my head, but you can take your arms in whatever position feels comfortable. Again, what we're trying to do here is just down-regulate the nervous system. Yin yoga is a little different from restorative yoga in the sense that restorative yoga, I know this sounds kind of weird, is more yin than yin yoga. So if you were to put it in relative terms, yin yoga in comparison to like a active vinyasa flow practice, of course yin is going to be more yin, right? Meaning more calming, grounding, cooling in relation to yang energy, more active and strength and building heat. But if you were to compare in relative terms restorative and yin yoga, restorative is more yin, even more calming and grounding than yin yoga. Yin yoga is a little bit more active. We're finding deep stretches. Here, we're just trying to restore our body and our mind back to a neutral state, back to a state where we don't have to stress or worry about anything that's happened in the past or anything that's happening in the future. We can just be present with things as they are now. Take a couple more cycles of breath here. Sensing your body as you breathe. Noticing as you inhale how you lift up towards the ceiling like a balloon inflating. And as you exhale, your body sinking back down towards the floor. And just by following the breath, it's very calming and grounding, right? It has a sense of rhythm to it. And what's wonderful about the breath is that it's essentially the link between the physical body and your mind. All right, if you just focus on your breath and try to calm it down or notice how it calms down gradually, your body will follow, your mind will follow. If your breath is frantic and stressed and you're hyperventilating, you can essentially trick your body and trick your mind into stressing out and thinking that there is something endangering you, right? So the breath is extremely powerful. Take 3 more cycles of breath. And then slowly press yourself back up. Come back onto your hands and knees. I'm just going to turn my body in the other direction. So that way I'm not facing away from you. If you want, you can take a couple cat-cows just to break up any of that stagnant energy. And then come back to neutral in the spine. This time, walk your knees to the left of your mat. Sit on your right hip. Legs are going to be staggered here in that about 90-degree bend in the knees, maybe a little less than that. But your right leg is rotating out, your left leg is rotating in. Turn your chest towards the bolster or your pillow. Sit up nice and tall. Inhale. Exhale, fold onto that bolster. And you can cradle it with your arms and allow your arms to just come into any position that feels comfortable to you. And then close your eyes. A common thing that I hear from my students, especially, students who aren't used to slowing down and simplifying, is that they'll say to me, I can't relax. I just can't relax. And just as we learn and pick up on habits, right? When we're younger, when we're kids, we probably didn't have much stress because we didn't have too much to worry about. As we get older, right, we develop more responsibilities, more demands and stress, or demands on our life that can create stress. And how we respond to that can be a habit. So if you can develop a habit of stressing out, of holding on to tension, then you can also learn a new habit, especially if you're not used to relaxing. You can essentially teach yourself how to relax. And restorative yoga is a wonderful tool to use to help with that. See if you can allow your body weight to just melt into the surface beneath you. the mat, the bolster, pillow. Instead of holding your body weight up, right, you can trust this, that the floor is going to be there to support you, that this bolster is not going anywhere. This pillow is not going anywhere. So allow your whole body weight to just melt onto it. Trusting it, breathing into it. Couple more cycles of breath. And I forgot to mention that, if you want to hold these shapes for a little bit longer, you are more than welcome to. You can pause the video and maybe set a timer for 3-5 minutes, maybe even longer. But just for the sake of this video, of this class, we're holding these poses a little bit shorter than what you might typically hold in a traditional restorative class. All right. As you're ready, slowly press yourself up. And you can move the bolster off to the side. So now we're going to come onto our backs, but with the supportive blocks. If you have the cork blocks like I do, you might want to consider putting your pillow or, lie a blanket on top of it so it's a little softer. So grab your 2 blocks, set it up at the back of your mat. You can place the first one under your head, level 3, or level 2 if you don't want to be lifted as high off the floor. And then you can take the other one, level 2, across your back if the one under your head is the highest setting, or you can take it level 1, the wider setting, if the one under your head is a little lower. So set it up, and then you can either take your blanket or you can take your bolster on top. Now, if you're setting up your bolster, these cork blocks are a little bit sturdier than the foam blocks, but still just be mindful that when you recline down, if you push back, they're going to fall. So you're going to slowly lower your body weight down onto it versus pushing your body weight back onto it. So go ahead and plant your feet to the floor and set up the first block so it's hitting you right at your shoulder blades. Then the second block will be supporting your skull, will be supporting your head. And a little bit more propped upright. And a little bit more supported here with this bolster. So you can take your hands on your belly. Maybe it feels good to keep the feet planted. For me, right now, I'm going to take the arms out wide. If you want, you can bring the soles of the feet together or lengthen the legs out. But allow your whole body weight to just kind of basically have a trust fall moment, falling back onto the support. If you need a little bit of time to set it up, go ahead. Don't be afraid. You can pause the video, set up your props, and then recline onto it. If you find the bolster, setting it up is a little too complicated, then you can grab your blanket and maybe try lying that on top. For me, I'm a visual person. Maybe you are too. So as you inhale, maybe you visualize a balloon inflating, lifting up towards the ceiling as if your body's just getting lighter. And as you exhale, maybe you notice your body getting heavier, like a balloon deflating. Continue following your breath. How it interacts with your body, expanding and contracting. The sound that you hear from your breath. The clothing on your skin. And how, as you breathe, the sensations change a bit. As you inhale, the clothes get a little tighter and closer to your skin. And as you exhale, your clothes get maybe a little looser and pull away from it. Things that we don't really stop to notice, they're there. It's happening on a daily basis. And all we have to do is stop and listen and sense and observe. Take a couple more cycles of breath. Then can slowly, if your legs are lengthened or the knees are out wide, plant your feet to the ground one at a time. Moving really slow, really lazy. You can either roll off of your blocks and your bolster to one side, or since I'm a little bit more propped up, I'm going to take my hands under my shoulders, curl my chin to my chest, and gently press myself up. Good. Move the bolster out of the way. Move the blocks out of your way. Go ahead and lie all the way down. Actually, before you lie down, take your bolster and your blankets towards the back because you might find that you want to use them for the end of class. So go ahead and lie down on your back. Legs lengthened out in front of you. Really quickly, just sense your lower back on the mat and the curvature of your spine off the floor. There's no right or wrong answer. Just notice how it feels right now. And then plant your feet to the ground and take your hands to the front of your pelvis, finding those two frontal hip points or, those bony protrusions at the front of the pelvis, and then hands are to that front portion. Imagine that your tailbone is a paintbrush. As you inhale, you'll paint your tailbone behind you, arching your lower spine off the floor. Keep your butt to the ground though, so it's like a cow pose. And as you exhale, you'll round your lower back into the floor like you're painting in front of you. Your tailbone's going to curl forward. Inhale again, you arch your back. Exhale, you round your back. Take a couple more of these on your own. Just sensing the movement of your pelvis, the movement of your spine, not just in your lower back, but the upper back and the head and neck. And how when you arch your back, your chin starts to tuck inward. As you arch your spine, your chin starts to tilt upward. Everything is connected and related, and all we're doing is just bringing awareness to that. And essentially just teaching the distinction between when we want a muscle to work, like for example the lower back when the spine is arched, and when the belly is engaged or when the back is rounded. And when one is working, the other is lengthening, or what we oftentimes think of as relaxing. And again, that's just in relative terms. All right, so now lengthen your legs on the floor and notice how it feels now. And you might notice, for me, I notice a huge difference. My lower back feels more relaxed to the mat. And I feel like as a whole, my body's a little bit more at ease. Take your arms by your side and now notice how your shoulders feel on the mat. Notice if maybe the shoulders are rounded off the ground. And if it's hard for you to sense that, you can take your hand across the chest and kind of move from shoulder to shoulder. Maybe you notice the shoulder heads are rounded forward, and maybe you sense that the inner corners of the shoulder blades are pressing into the mat. So let's see if we can get the shoulders to relax. Plant your feet to the ground. Cross your left leg on top of your right until the knees are stacked. Take a breath in. Exhale, slowly guide your legs to the left. Keep the right shoulder blade to the mat. Come back to center. Inhale. Again, exhale, slowly guide your legs to your left. Let's take that a couple more times. Maybe you notice a little bit of a tug along the right side of the body between the rib cage and the pelvis. Maybe in the lower back. Take 2 more. Last one. Come back to center. Unwind your legs so that we can do a quick little test and see if anything feels different. Maybe you sense that the right shoulder is much more relaxed to the ground than the left. And if it's hard for you to sense that, again, you can take your hand from shoulder head to shoulder head across the chest, and maybe you can actually feel that your left shoulder is a little higher. So let's see if we can get that left shoulder to relax down now. So plant your feet to the ground, cross your right leg on top. Take a breath in. Exhale, slowly guide your legs to the right. Try to keep your left shoulder blade to the mat. Come back to center, inhale. Exhale, slowly guide the legs over. Come back to center and exhale. Take 2 more. Good. Unwind your legs, lengthen them along the floor. You might notice both shoulders are a little bit more relaxed to the mat. All right. So maybe this is where you want to end class, to kind of have a moment to pause, to reflect on your practice, to notice how you feel before you head off to sleep. So if this is comfortable, you can stay like this. If you want to set yourself up a bit more, maybe you take your pillow or your bolster under your knees so it's not as much pull on your lower back, a little bit more supportive for your lower back. Maybe you take your blanket under your head like a pillow. Just be mindful that you're not pushing your head up, but you're allowing the muscles in your neck to relax down. Good. Arms can relax by your side. Or hands can come to your belly, but close your eyes. Good. This is a practice, right? That's why it's called a yoga practice, not yoga perfect. And we're simply using all of the various tools within the practice that we know today, right? The body, the movement of the body, the breath, meditation, and various combinations of those things as a means to be a bit more present with how things are. And by being a bit more present with how things are as they come and as they go, we don't need to attach. We don't need to form expectations. We don't need to see things in black and white or even gray terms. We can just see things as they are, laid out in front of us. And from that place, we can find clarity. We can find balance. And we can make skillful choices and actions. So we can take that information and apply it when we need it most. If you'd like to stay here a little bit longer, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, you can wiggle your fingers and your toes. You can circle the wrists and the ankles in one direction and then the other. Stretch the arms overhead. And then hug your knees to your chest. Roll over to one side of your body and gently press yourself up. Come into a comfortable seated position. Palms together in front of your chest. Breath in. Sigh out. Good. Hopefully as you move on into your evening, you can continue to find ease and drift off to a nice, restful sleep. I thank you for joining me in this class. From my heart to yours, namaste.